Hey guys, welcome to the first video of my YouTube channel. I've been making some uh, amateur film reviews on Instagram for a little while now, and I thought it was time to branch out to YouTube videos. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 2020 horror film Gretel and Hansel. I actually saw this in theaters, and I must warn you guys, I'm very easily scared by horror movies because I am a little baby. So, take what I say with a little bit of a grain of salt. Uh, Horror is not exactly my expertise. So, things that scare me might not necessarily scare you. Um, and, I'm still trying to figure stuff out. I'm reading this off a script right now. Maybe I don't know if I'm gonna do a script for the next one, or how much I'm gonna stick to the script. But you know, like I said, I'm just working the kinks out. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, so this movie stars Sophia Lillis as Gretel. Um, and I wanted to say that her performance was actually very good. And you'll probably recognize her from her role as Beverly Marsh in It, Part One. And she was by no means was she a minor character, but unlike in that movie, uh, here Lilith is clearly the star. In the fairy tale, it's obviously based on Hansel and Gretel, the grim fairy tale, but they actually changed the name around. It's Gretel and Hansel instead of Hansel and Gretel, and I think that was actually a pretty good choice because I believe that in the original, um, that I believe that in the original, uh, Hansel and Gretel are about the same age, or maybe she's a few years older than him. But in this one, um, I don't think the age difference is discussed, but she's like a lot older than Hansel in this film, and she's the one that makes the decisions. She's the one that she narrates the film. The ending is based around her, so she's clearly the star of the film. And the actor who plays Hansel is not bad. I mean, I think his name is Samuel Leakey, and he's young. I don't know how old he is. I didn't look it up, but I know that Sophia is 17. But he has a couple well written, pretty well performed scenes. But like I said, Sophia Lillis is the star, and I think that's for the better because she is probably the most talented actress or actor, like anyone in this film. Uh, so yeah, she did a great job. And this film actually had a pretty small budget of only $5 million. And for those of you that don't know, aren't familiar with film and how it works, $5 million is not a lot of money. That's like how much the original Saw had, for budget. Well, actually, I think that I lied. That's wrong. I think the original Saw had like $1 million or less. But regardless, it's not a lot of money to make movies, especially horror movies. Because usually they have more like effects that they need to do. Like thrillers and horror movies usually cost a lot more to make. It's not like an art house film type thing. But that being said, it actually has some pretty gorgeous cinematography. I thought there was a lot of good shots. Um, you know, like just beautiful shots in the forest. It's like some shots that weren't even eerie or scary. Um, the music was also really good. That's something I forgot to write about. But I'm just remembering because I'm kind of imagining the scenes again. Because there's a couple scenes where it just will hold on like a shot of the moon or trees or something, and the music actually helped set the tone a lot. It was pretty good. Um, Gretel agrees to stay in the house with the old woman. Much like in the original fairy tale, and you know, one of the things I liked about this film is it didn't actually have a lot of jump scares. That's one of the things I hate about horror movies the most is jump scares. They're just lazy and not well done. It just you're gonna get scared because you're just not expecting it. It's like an involuntary reaction. But most of this, most of the horror that came from this film was more of the performance of the witch, her unsettling look, or, you know, just long, steady shots on creepy things rather than a quick shot of something that's creepy or scary, you know. And I think one of the major flaws with the witch, though, is that she was too easy to defeat. She was not a very strong villain, and I don't want her to be necessarily. I don't want this movie to be set up for sequels. I don't want too often in horror movies uh, the original goal of the filmmakers is not followed through because they'll make their movie that they want to make, and then the studios want to spin off sequel after sequel after sequel, and no matter what, the deaths can always be retconned. I mean, like Jason, can go to hell and can go to space and can take Manhattan or whatever. Like they'll just they're just too comically strong, or unbeatable, or they'll die, but no, surprise, they're actually not dead, or oh, their brother is actually evil, and now that so that you know that's good that they're not doing that, but she is defeated in a matter of, I think, like I don't know, like 5 minutes or less, like very easily. Um, but real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, NordVP. Okay, actually, just kidding. But for real though, this is the part where I move into spoiler territory. So I'm just gonna give a quick spoiler warning for the ending. It's a twist ending. It's not really. Uh, I would say it's not one of those bad twists. I think it's one of the better, well done twists that I've seen in a long time. It's no Fight Club twist, but it actually is. My cat in the background. It actually is, you know, um, hinted at throughout the film, um, and you know, it's actually pretty well written. I would say. So Gretel, she actually has the ability to speak to animals and plants. She doesn't use it very often, but like, she speaks to a mushroom, like, psychically, and we're not really like given any kind of insight. Like, we don't know how. It's just kind of like, oh, all of a sudden she can speak, and the mushroom apparently told her that it wasn't poisonous. She speaks to a horse, with her mind and stuff. But she also can like control things with her mind, um, which is how she eventually defeats the witch. But the witch, um, knows this about Gretel. She knows that Gretel has these powers. And there's actually this story that starts in the beginning. It's the opening narration is a story about a girl with a pink hat, and this girl um, is born, and she is the most beautiful in the whole town, and everyone agrees that she's this precious baby girl. And then she falls ill, so they take her. Her father takes her to this enchantress, right? Um, and this enchantress is supposed to, she replaces the illness and gives her powers instead. But the powers consume this girl, and you know, this girl becomes evil, and so she starts killing. She kills her father, and she kills horses, and she does all these fucked up things. So the town banishes her. They send her back to the enchantress, and she gets locked in the woods, sent away, and that's where she builds the house. Um, and what everyone, I think, was thinking, and this isn't even really the main twist, but it's like a part of the twist. I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, the girl with the pink hat is the witch here today, but actually the witch is the mother of the girl with the pink hat, and she becomes evil because her husband is killed by her daughter, and her daughter is evil, and her daughter kind of corrupts her mind, and so she like helps build the house too with her mind, and has powers and becomes evil, and she has to eat her kids. It's not explained super well. It's a little weak, but parts of it are strong. It's kind of flawed. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so Let's see here. Uh, but yeah, so there's these scenes where, or there's a specific scene where the witch is trying to get Gretel to control her powers and that kind of stuff. And she levitates a stick or whatever. Um, but she keeps telling, the witch. The witch um, keeps telling Gretel that she can't, let her brother hold her back. She can't support him. She can't protect him. She can't, care about him because he has a different path or whatever. And so the witch wants her to eat Gretel. I mean, wants her to eat Hansel. Um, that's how she'll let him go. And at the end, after she defeats the witch, and surprisingly, so the girl with the pink hat, who's actually supposed to be the most evil, isn't really a main character. She kind of she's there for the intro, but in the past, and then she has something to do with controlling her mom. That's why her mom's evil, but we don't really know where she is or what she's doing. She doesn't try to stop. She doesn't show herself in a physical form, or at least those are seen to be illusions, or at least she never attacks or does anything of that sort. So that is kind of weird. Especially because the witch, was so easy to defeat. I think, oh, well, the witch is easy to defeat, but here's the actual real, even more evil, corrupted soul that's gonna be the main villain. But that actually doesn't turn out to be the case. And so the souls of these kids that the witch ate are now free, and they leave, and so too does Hansel, because she talks to the horse and she sends him back home. Um, so it's kind of ambiguous. We don't really know what the brother is gonna do or what's gonna happen to him, but he is safe-ish, at least as far as we know. And then, um, and, and you know, uh, Gretel decides to stay behind in the woods, and um, throughout the film, the old woman is seen to have uh, like black, uh, kind of like burnt almost, but not just like black fingertips. Um, and it's never really explained or brought up. They don't ask why her fingertips are black. She doesn't explain. She doesn't mention it at all. Um, but I guess it's some kind of sign of her evil or sign of her power or something. And the last shot of the film is Gretel's hands. She looks down and they're becoming black, and so like I said, yeah. Last thing that happens is the screen. Her fingers turn black, and then so too does the screen. So, movie fades to black, and that's the end. I think it could have a sequel, and I'm sure if the studios wanted it, they could make 1 million of these. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But I hope that it just ends here, because I think it was a pretty solid ending. I think it was pretty powerful and interesting, especially because they hinted at it a little bit with her powers and stuff. And, the fact that maybe she really didn't have the best intentions for her brother or for herself. Maybe she was drawn to the evil because she's shown to be very smart, but, she doesn't question until a week later, how come there's all this food and there's no animals and there's no milk, and she doesn't go to the market? Why, does she have all this food? Why did she make a feast when she's just by herself? Why is she so willing to let her in? It's interesting, but I think it's pretty ambiguous, so we don't really know. But yeah, so that was Gretel and Hansel. Came out in 2020. It had a budget of $5 million, and I don't know how much it made, but I would be willing to bet it's made more than its budget, which is what that's. I mean, I could be wrong. I'll look it up right now. Hansel box office, but I'm sure that if it made a lot of money, they might make a sequel, at least another one, if not Um, let's see. It's not really saying. Uh, yeah. Well, anyway, regardless, I think it was a pretty well made film. I think that the fact that they took the road less traveled and didn't do jump scares is also, I think it's uh, noteworthy. Um, and yeah, I don't know if it's worth seeing in theaters. Um, I, I'm actually 16, so I technically can't see rated R movies in the theater. So I kind of just improvised. I just drove down to the theater. I was bored. I wanted to watch a movie, and I didn't have an adult accompanying me. So I was like, oh well, oh this is PG-13. I didn't know. So I just bought tickets and watched it, and I enjoyed it. But I definitely think you should check it out on Redbox or Netflix or whatever you watch, DVD when it comes out on that kind of stuff, because it was a pretty solid horror movie, uh, especially if you like cinematography and things of that sort. So, um, yeah, this movie's movie, not this movie. This video is getting a little long, so I'm gonna end it here. Um, but I would say, Gretel and Hansel, I give it about let's say a 7.9 out of 10. That's what I give it on a scale of 10. But yeah, so let me know, comment or whatever. Let me know if what you thought of this video. Um, you know, I'm still experimenting. I might do like I'm trying to figure out. I'm very new to this. I don't know how to make YouTube videos, but I'll definitely get a better camera in the future and a better microphone. And I don't know if you can hear background noise, but I'm not alone in the house and it's not exactly quiet. But um, I really love film. I really love movies. I really love my film reviews, but I feel like I'm limited because I have to type it out, and then it's hard to space it out. People aren't always gonna read it. It's gonna be harder to have people. I feel like when you're speaking to someone or when you're talking through a YouTube video, you can get a feel for what they thought of the movie, and you know, I think I think it gets boring after a while just listening to some guy geek out about a movie. I think if I explain it in this way more directly, like I'm speaking to someone, or you know, I just think this format could be useful and could be interesting in the future. Um, so yeah, um, as always, I don't know why I just said that because there is no as always, but stay cool, guys. Peace out.